In the next part, it says use the explicit or recursive function to find the first 5 terms in the sequence, starting with f of 1. Starting with f of 1 means 1 is going to be the first number that we want to plug into the equation. So if we take a look at question number 13, it says f of x is equal to 8 times x plus 3. We can look at this as an explicit formula because we can find any term by just plugging in the number for x. So let's start with f of 1. So if we find f of 1, f of 1 is going to be equal to 8 times 1 plus 3. What we did is we plugged in the 1 for the first term in for that x. So 8 times 1 plus 3 will give us our first term of 11. And then there's a couple other ways of finding the next terms in the sequence. One thing is we can recognize that we are multiplying by 8 every time. So we can continue to add 8. That 8 is our common difference, that number in front of the x. So we can add 8 every time. If you forget that or don't know if we should be adding 3 or be adding 8, you can also continue to plug numbers in. So if we add 8, we would get 19. But I also want to show you that if we plug in 2 for x to find f of 2, we'll also get 19. So you have a couple different options that you can use. So let's take a look at that. So if we have f of 2, that would mean we're finding 8 times 2 plus 3. Again, we plug the 2 in for the second term in for our x. So 8 times 2 is 16, plus 3 would give us 19 for our second term. And then we can continue on with the third term. If we recognize that, hey, we're adding 8 each time, we can go ahead and just continue to add 8 to find the next terms. Or we can go ahead and find f of 3 by plugging the 3 in. So I'm going to do that one more time to show you what that would look like. So if we wanted to find f of 3, we would take 8, multiply it by 3, and then add 3. So again, where the x is in our equation, we plugged in the 3 because that's the term number that we wanted to plug in. So 8 times 3 will give us 24, plus 3 will give us 27. So our third term would be 27. And then you can continue to plug in the 4 and the 5, or again, if you recognize now that 8 is that number that we're multiplying by each time or adding each time, we can now just continue to add 8 each time to find the rest of it. To get from 11 to 19, we added 8. We added 8 to get to 27. If we add 8 again, we get 35. And if we add 8 again, we get 43. So these are the first 5 terms of the sequence 8x plus 3.